Greetings and welcome back, gentles and ladiesmen, to another King-K-rific episode of Exio Plays Donkey Kong Country 3 on the Game Boy Advance. In the last episode, we finished off to Mechanos and had a big, long discussion about the soundtrack. Now we are back to do some side quest stuff before we head on to the next worlds.
So then, how may I be of assistance to you? These are the finest chocolates, guaranteed to impress. They can be yours for just 20 coins. I can tell you now, Kongs, that you have made a very worthy purchase. Yes, it's no ordinary one, though. It was Cranky's great-grandfather's. I can't let it go for less than 50 coins. Can I interest you in buying this fabulous item? Hold on there, young Kongs. I'm afraid you don't have enough. See you so long. Bye-bye.
And I'm gonna show off a little cutscene you can get with Funky here real quick. Whoa, bogus Docking Kongs! Get my crate back in here before that clumsy bazaar parks it on the rocks! So if you park your boat over there and then walk back over to talk to Funky, he'll give you that little spiel. Well, hey, you found 2 skis! Awesome! Now I've got all the parts I need to make the ultimate ride. Wait right there, Kongs, while I bring you my latest and greatest boat yet. Bonkers! I've built in a cool turbo feature that'll be sure to take you to new heights. Just press the B button. And now we have a brand new Funky mission to play. Ready for some hovercraft action? All the Kongs have decided to go swimming. Right outside the Kremlin stronghold. Duh. Defend them from the Kremlin kidnappers until help arrives. You gotta have at least 1 Kong left to complete the challenge. Alright, so round 3 of Funky's boating. As you can see, all of our Kong friends from DK64 are here, including Tiny Kong, who's back. That's Funky right there. That's Lanky Kong, and I think they just got away with Lanky Kong, unfortunately. So I find that the easiest way to play this is to go off over to and stay in kind of the middle, and wait for one to come over and then just shoot him. Like that. And then you will be just fine. So, I am glad that they have all these cameos. There's Candy Kong right there. I am glad that they were able to put all these cameos from DK64 back in, because a lot of those characters haven't really shown up since. Like, maybe they're in some of the other games that came out before Returns, basically retconned most of these characters out of existence. Like, Wrinkly dies after this game, spoiler alert. She becomes a ghost in later games. And, one thing I should have mentioned earlier is, when we were doing that mine mission, where we had to, like, take the mines and bring them back. That's actually a mission from Cobra Triangle. Like, if you play Cobra Triangle, there are missions where you'd have to take mines, safety zones, and stuff. And this is also a reference to Cobra Triangle. There are missions in that game where you had to protect swimmers from enemy boats and stuff. Or maybe, I don't know, I haven't actually played the game, I just read the back of the box, and I was like, wow, that sounds a lot like these missions from DKC3 GBA. So as you can see, as long as you're in the middle, you can just, you know, turn the boat and shoot at people. And that's pretty much the easiest way to take care of these Kremlings here. So I don't know why the Kongs decided that it would be a good idea to set up their swimming extravaganza right outside a Kremling base. It seems like a dumb idea. Like, they're not even swimming, they're just sitting there and waving for help. I don't know, this mission's pretty easy. Like I said, the first mission is the hardest one. The last mission's kind of tricky, which we'll unlock later on. Because this is the last boat we can get. The Turbo Ski is the last boat we can get in the game. Wink, wink. Yo, dudes, the Kong family's back safely. Here, take these. Alright, so that's 3 missions done out of 4. Because there might be another vehicle in this game. It's not a boat, though. And for some reason, I did not start my timer. Alright, so now we can go show off the Turbo Ski real quick. If you can find all the DK coins, you can put them down as a deposit in my ultimate ride. Come back when you've got some more Kongs. I'll keep you informed on how close to the jackpot you are. So I skipped the first dialogue box, but I think you have a pretty good idea about what is going on here. That is what the DK coins are for in this game. Funky Kong has an additional boat you can get for finding an additional vehicle you can get for getting all of the DK coins in this game. So just to show off what the turbo ski does real quick, as long as you're holding the B button, you can go up waterfalls. So we can access the third tier of DKC3, which is where the game gets a whole lot worse, if you ask me. But before we get to that, we gotta play more terrible shit with Krematoa. Is that a cog you got there? You know, I reckon it'll fit on the strange box, which has been here ever since I moved in. Pop it on and see what happens. Looks like you're gonna have to find a few more of them to fit it all together. Perhaps there are more hidden in other areas. Go on, Kongs, I reckon you can find the rest. Don't forget, there's still demolition to be done. I'm itching to press that button. Fancy giving me some coins then? Go on, have a go. Good one, Kongs, that's bought you one of Boomer's specials. By the way, Kongs, did I mention that my last special costs 26 coins? But hey, it'll definitely be worth it. Alright, so we have just unlocked the second level in Krematoa, which is probably the best level in Krematoa in the SNES version. But it's one of the worst levels in the game, in my opinion, in this version. Okay, so get this. The gimmick of the stage is that there's this bazooka at the bottom of the screen. We can't actually see him because of the lower resolution. But there is a bazooka down there who is shooting barrels upwards for the whole stage. And you're supposed to bounce off of them like that to keep progressing in the level. Now that level is fine. It's a fun little nugget of an idea to base a stage around. The problem is that they decided to change it between versions of the game. In the original version of the game, touching those steel barrels from the side didn't hurt you. I put out a tweet on Twitter and asked my followers, hey, can someone verify this for me? I could have swore in the SNES version of the game, the steel barrels and crisscross clips didn't hurt you. And people popped the game in and played it and said, yeah, we can confirm that the barrels do not hurt you from the side in the original version of this game. For some reason, in the GBA version, they decided to make it so that they do hurt you now. And it completely ruins the level. Like, any fun you could get out of the stage is now gone. Because it is such a pain in the ass to time your jumps in between barrels that are moving that quickly. Like, even with full 60 frames per second and whatnot. And by the way, the barrel switches are back. Like, you can change the type of barrels that the bazooka shoots out by pressing the switch. Like, it's one of those things, again, that is kind of easier when you're playing it on a DS capture card like this. By the way, they completely ruined the level in that way, too. In the original version of the game, the barrels would stay whatever you switch them to. So if you press the switch and transform them into TNT barrels... Yeah, see? Now I have to redo the whole level all over again. And just, why did they change that? Who was complaining that the level was too easy and that we need to make the barrels hurt you from the side? Who's gonna time these jumps? I mean, it's like, when I do, it feels like luck. You know what I'm saying? And it's just like, for some reason, I'm having an easier time with it than I did during my test playthrough. Like, I died so many times when I played this in my practice playthrough, but, you know, I guess between that practice and, you know, it being easier with the bigger screen here, I'm having an easier time of it. But still, it's just like, why did they change that? Was there someone who's... So like in the original version of the stage, those TNT barrels would stay TNT barrels. But because they changed it so that after you press the switch, after a certain amount of time, it just changes back. So that section off to the right there is completely worthless. There's no reason to go into it at all. And there are some coins over there if you want them, because that mirror that we're gonna need is pretty expensive. And we do need it. We actually need it for 2 things, but we'll get to that when we get to that. Okay, so over here the pathway splits. Over here there's a creeper. That's what these guys on the ropes are called. Ugh. Yeah, so all that's over there is an N, so you can skip that safely. And I got myself killed. Thankfully, I hit the midpoint barrel, so we don't have to redo the whole stage from scratch. Ugh, like, I just had the most annoying time playing this stage for my practice playthrough. Any game can seem easy, and that was my fault. I'll take full ownership of that. Any game can seem easy when you've played it enough. Like, I'm sure that if I were to play DKC2 for the first time nowadays, I'd probably find more to complain about than I would if I just played it now. And it's just like my friend Frank, I think, he's played DKC3 the most of the trilogy, and he said it's his favorite one. He played DKC2 for the first time maybe a few months ago and found it kind of annoying. Whereas I have the opposite problem. I find DKC3 is the one that's annoying. By the way, with these enemies that look like Tigger from Winnie the Pooh, they're called, I think, not Kaboings, but they're the same idea as the Kaboings from DKC2. Recoils, they're called Recoils. And yes, if you somehow manage to get yourself in here without using the steel barrels, you have a safeguard switch there. I don't know, maybe it was just doing a really shitty job of timing my jumps when I was playing this when I was doing my practice playthrough on GBA. But it does feel like... Nah, I'm gonna finish off this bonus room real quick, and then I'm gonna have to pause the playthrough for just a minute. But anyways, we have a Bash the Baddies minigame here. It's just simple. Bounce off the steel barrels to kill the knickknacks, and there you go. There's no bonus coin. Done and over with. Maybe I was doing a real shitty job timing my jumps, but I swear, especially with the high frame rate, ironically, it's harder to tell where the steel barrels are on a smaller screen, I swear. And that makes this level harder on the smaller screen. And even then, it's just like, okay, I just went through the platform just now. I don't know how that works. I don't know why I need that switch. It's probably another switch that was made useless between versions. Let's hop up this way. Use that switch to destroy that red buzz. And then just bounce our way up over... I don't know why they changed it. It makes the level worse. Like, I don't know, it's not a fun challenge because it's so hard to time your way in there. Like, when you do, it feels like luck. So it's not like fun difficulty or anything, it's just annoying. And the level was just fine without it before, so I don't understand why they felt the need to make it the level worse like that. It's not the worst level of all time, but I don't really enjoy playing it either. I think that's the through line with Krematoa, if you ask me, is that even when the levels aren't shitty, but even when they're fine, even when you're used to them, they're not super fun to play. Like, no matter what they are. And now the lower vertical camera is starting to piss me off a little bit too, because I could barely see that guy in time. Ugh, okay. I'm gonna pause the game for just a moment, folks, and I'll be right back to entertain you with my voice very soon. Alright, and I'm back at long last. Sorry about that delay. but I have no idea what I was talking about before the break, so... yeah. I mean... the original version of the stage, when there was no touch damage on those barrels, I don't really mind crisscross cliffs at all in the original version of the game. Oh, I just realized... no, we did get the... we did get the coin, rather, sorry. I'm a little winded because I've been doing some running. Not exactly in the best shape of my life. You know what I'm saying. But the original version of the stage is probably, like I said, it's probably the best world in best level in Krematoa in the original version of the game. But because they added the touch damage on the barrels, they pretty much turned it from a level I don't really mind all that much to one of my least favorite levels in the world. But you get a free bear coin from that in our second cog, and we're done with the second level in Krematoa. And with that, we can move on to new greener pastures. So we have a choice of 3 worlds from here on. I suggest we do them in order, the original order rather. Because that might make it a little bit more fun from a side quest perspective. Well, good day to you, Dixie. How are you? The name's Sparta. Whoops, have you seen me washers? That posing punky fella's been acting a bit weird lately. I'd swear he's been working on some super secret project. But I reckon it's just some silly pipe dream. I've been doing some home improvements, but look at the state of me. How will I know when I'm clean? Dirty? I'd take a look in the mirror if I were you. I do enjoy the Brothers Bear, and one thing I have not mentioned at all. Anyway, as long as we're getting into another level with Rockface Rumble, I do have to mention, with Nuts and Bolts, I felt it was pretty much a tie as to whether the SNES or GBA track was better, because they were both great. They were both great factory songs on their own merits. I think Nuts and Bolts is a really solid SNES song, and I almost guarantee that Evelyn Novakovic probably did not compose that one. Rockface Rumble in the SNES version is also one of the best tracks in DKC3 on SNES. That is an honest-to-God awesome track, regardless of who composed it. I could see either composer working on that one, honestly. It was a really good song. But once again, I've got to give the point to the GBA version on this one, because I absolutely love this country music that is playing in this version of Rockface Rumble. It sounds like Sweet Home Alabama, and I absolutely love it. And I think it's actually a remix of Credits Concerto from DKC1. Like, you know, all the songs are remixes. Nuts and Bolts in this game is a remix of Fear Factory, as you might expect. This is a remix of Credits Concerto, the Credits song from DKC1. Which is always fun. And I love that guitar instrument they use. It sounds like something ripped straight out of the Sega Genesis. Okay, so this is one of the more annoying coins in the game, and I think they might have made it a little bit easier for this version, but you have to really haul ass to get it to hit the coin before time runs out. Basically, you throw it upwards like this, and I think, yeah, I play as Kitty. His roll makes him go faster. Like, Dixie's roll is a little slower. We're gonna climb our way up here. So those enemies, we saw them earlier, they're called creepers. They're basically the clobber knockoffs in this game, except they're on ropes, and they will explode if they touch you, obviously. So there's actually a running version of the TNT creepers as well. Like, there are sprites for them in the original SNES game, but they were actually never used in the game. Unlike the TNT clobbers from DKC2, there were no TNT creepers that you could run into that would run along the ground. However, maybe there are some new levels in this version of the game, wink wink, and maybe, just maybe, they bring back TNT Creeper just for this game. You never know. Alright, I think there might be some collectibles down here. Nope. Alright, this level kind of reminds me of, Chain Link Chamber a little bit. Just in terms of the structure and how you're jumping from rope to rope. The rope stuff is fun in the DKC games. I really enjoy the rope climbing segments. It's some fun platforming. There are good levels in this game. I want to make it clear that I don't hate DKC 3. I think it's a good game. I just, like, compared to everything that second game did, it is clearly the inferior product in my eyes. Anyways, that last creeper can be kind of hard to dodge because you gotta drop down twice in a row. There is the Crankies Dojo for this world, but because they're all the same, we'll be skipping it as usual. Welcome to one of the worst levels in the game in the original version, but as we've discussed before, and they changed the color palette in this level for some reason. I don't know why. One thing I also haven't mentioned about DKC 3 and GBA, out of all the games in the trilogy, I find that the color accuracy is the best in this particular game. Like in DKC 1 and 2, they changed the colors because of, you know, lack of backlighting and stuff. But by the time this game came out, I could not see that at all. By the time this particular port came out, it was 2005, the DS was out. By the time this game came out in 2005, the DS was out, GBA SPs were common. Pretty sure the Game Boy Micro, even if it was out, also had a backlit screen. There's a bonus barrel down there, make sure you don't miss that one. So I guess by the time this game came out, they were like, we don't really need to change the colors anymore because of the, you know, the lack of backlighting. So they just kept for what are pretty close to the original SNES colors. I'm sure there's a slight difference because after all, the two consoles have different color ranges, I imagine. But I can barely tell the difference color-wise, except for this stage, obviously. They made it greener for some reason. I guess it makes it stand out, but, you know, whatever. So this level I really fucking hate in the original. In case you haven't seen my review, the crux of it was, I thought the first half of the game was really good. Like, everything from Lake Orangutangia to Mykonos I thought was pretty solid. There were a couple of levels that were or were kind of pushing things, but for the most part, there wasn't what I would call a bad level in the first half of the game. From K3 onwards, this game is a lot more mixed in quality, I'd say. This is where all the bad levels in the game are. And it just kind of never recovers from this slump. The levels in the last world of the game are better than third tier, I'd say. But they're still not super great, and they don't hold a candle to DKC 2, if you ask me. Final world in this game is kind of disappointing. But regardless, there's a bonus room coming up here that I missed earlier. And it involves these houses, these log cabins. There's, you know, obviously, whenever you hit an enemy, you bounce and do this floaty jump, right? And I do enjoy this moment right there. So you have to avoid that buzz there, jump over it so that you land and then go underneath this house here. And then when you do that, you will find this bonus room. This Collect the Stars mission is deceptively more challenging than some of the other ones. Like, I have missed stars by jumping at the wrong time, and have had to kill myself and to go back to the barrel again, so... yeah. So there's some dick moves in this level, I find, especially in the original when the controls are different. Where I have played this stage and jumped at the wrong time, and the visibility is kind of shitty in this level too. In both versions. Maybe it's a little bit better in this one, I don't know. Or I have jumped and landed right in front of a pit, and it was like too late to steer or to jump or steer away, so I just die. Stuff like that. And yeah. Barrel drop bounce. Actually, yeah, we'll cut things off here. This seems like a good place to stop for the part. Well, hopefully you guys have enjoyed, but join me in the next episode when we play Barrel Drop Bounce. I think this was, what, episode 6? Join me in episode 7 when we will continue the game and continue on with K3 and hopefully fight the boss and all that stuff. Until then, I'm Exo Paradigm Gamer, and I hope you enjoyed the episode.